Fortune 4. Fortune 4. Fortune 4. Fortune 4. We about to change some things. We about to change some things. Fortune 4. Fortune 4. We about to change some things. We about to change some things. The in-ring show, it ain't no act. Fortune 4, bringing on the bitch slap. From the way we dress, the way we roll, the fast cars, pretty girls, and lots of dough. From the stage to the ramp, and the ramp to the ring. These four corners, it's our ecstasy. We can fly high, get you low, beat you where you go. Don't run, can't hide, don't try, don't you know? Fortune 4. Fortune 4, we about to change some things. We about to change some things. Fortune 4. Fortune 4, we about to change some things. We about to change some things. It's all about the fame, all about the fortune, all the right moves, sex of the motion, the money in the bling bling. They shower over me with masters of the in-ring. We gonna change things. Fortune is destiny. Friends are not my enemies. I'm living like I'm dying. So long live the legacy. It's power in numbers. We're gonna take you under, below the earth to your hell. Full riders ring a bell. Fortune 4. Fortune 4, we about to change some things. We about to change some things. Fortune 4. Fortune 4, we about to change some things. So we about to change some things. Fortune 4. Fortune 4, we about to change some things. So we about to change some things. Fortune 4. Fortune 4, we about to change some things. So we about to change some things. Fortune 4.
And then the real, just beginning of the end. Kevin Nash versus Scott Steiner versus Goldberg. So Goldberg's not there to start. Then he runs out and attacks Nash with a chair.
They claim Nash had claimed that he was in, or they claimed, Goldberg claimed he had been in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
So he comes out and his ribs are taped. So I guess maybe he was in a motorcycle accident, whatever this was. And they...
So they're doing this match for a bit. At one point, Goldberg kicked Steiner in the head. He kicked Steiner in the head so hard, Brett retired again.
Oh, Brett came out, by the way, to endorse Lance. Did we mention that?
I don't think we did, actually.
Yeah,
but yes.
but he did.
I can only imagine.
They were happy to see him.
I can only imagine what was going through his mind. So Kevin Nash could barely climb into the ring. He has a terrible brawl with Goldberg. As Scott Hudson explains, when Nash ended Goldberg's undefeated streak, Hudson pointed out, Nash gets in the booking committee 2 weeks out, and then he goes over. That's a quote.
Yeah.
Nash gets in the booking committee 2 weeks out, and then he goes over. So even before where this match is famous, they're already telling you wrestling's fake. So we get Kevin Nash, House on Fire.
Oh, it was horrible.
When Roderick Strong had his three-way at TakeOver and was running wild on both guys, and he was so fast he actually believed it. This was the opposite of that. So the announcers keep saying who's going to go over in this match. And finally, Nash grabs Goldberg for a powerbomb, but Goldberg pushes him away, curses him out, and leaves.
Yeah.
As he's walking up the aisle, Vince Russo, who I'll remind you, does not want to be on TV, shows up on TV. He tells Goldberg to get his ass back in the ring. Goldberg tells him to fuck off and leaves.
When Russo starts walking down that aisle and all of the announcers have to put over him like, oh man, here comes Russo. Bill Goldberg's in trouble now. I was like, fuck you. And then Goldberg says, fuck you, and he leaves. So then...
Before we continue this,
yes,
I just want to mention, can you imagine that you have a pro wrestling company that includes Goldberg, and you can't figure out how to get him over?
Yeah.
I know that happened, and I knew this happened 2 decades ago, and it still boggles my mind.
I hate to do this, but in defense of Vince Russo, Vince McMahon couldn't figure out how to get Goldberg over the first time.
You're right.
This is
right.
This is mind-boggling.
He did do better than this.
Well, he did do better than this, that's right. So, by the way, So, you ever been in a match, Vinny?
I have, yeah.
And I know this has happened. Something goes wrong when you
Often.
try and do the finish.
Almost always.
Okay. So you tried to do your finish, but it got fucked up.
Yes.
Okay.
Believe me, I'm with you.
Okay. So, like, then you do another finish, right?
Sure.
Okay. Well, so we're supposed to fucking believe that Goldberg was about to get powerbombed for the finish, but he walked out.
Yes.
So instead of Steiner and Nash just doing another finish immediately, they decided to wrestle for 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes trying to figure out how to finish.
Okay.
We are told that Goldberg was supposed to go up for the jackknife.
But decided not to.
Decided not to. Then they say, Kevin Nash is a pro. He could have punched Goldberg out.
Oh, yeah, he could have knocked out Goldberg, because we learned the next day Goldberg's fake. He's not a real tough guy. Russo told us that. Yeah. So then I believe it is Scott Hudson, it might have been Tony Schiavone, I think it actually was Schiavone, says, and I quote, if in fact the jackknife, pardon me.
Start over.
I want to make sure that I got this for posterity.
Although I can understand, it's so cringeworthy, I understand why you would choke.
If in fact the jackknife powerbomb was part of this match's design, what are they going to do now? Improvise? That's what he said.
And again, I knew that exact line was coming. But when you're watching the show, I know it's like watching a car wreck where you can't stop anything.
Yeah.
I was once
it's like a real accident where everything is moving in slow motion, but there's nothing that you can do about it.
I was once on the roof of the Edmonds Library. And
what are you doing there?
They're holding a wedding there, believe it or not. But the point is, I was up there, and I'm looking down at the beach. I'm looking down at the train tracks. And I actually see someone pull up on the train tracks and stop. And I actually see a train coming around the bend. And I'm thinking, oh my God, there's going to be a fatality, and there's nothing I can do about it. And thankfully, someone at street level ran up to this car, banged on the window, and the car pulled away before the train killed them all. But the point being, that's what it was like watching this match. It's like watching that train coming from the car, only no one was there to run up and bang on the window. And the train hit the car in this match.
So then they keep wrestling, and...
for a long time!
Yep. And all of a sudden, Medeja runs down to the ring, and she starts giving everybody low blows. So my question is, was she shooting on these guys?
I don't know!
Was this was clearly not part of the match design, so what the fuck's going on now?
I will add to this, Brian. She hits these improvised nut shots, but they are not the improvised finish because Nash kicks out.
Yes.
Because everything has to have 700 things going on at once. Eventually, Nash hit a powerbomb and won.
What a pro that Scott Steiner is. Not even scheduled to do the job, but he did it anyway. What a pro.
Nashers are talking about Scott Steiner this way.
And then as soon as he gets pinned, the announcer screamed, he went up for it, Goldberg. Like,
this match...
get out of here. All-time horrible.
I said this about the show, but I really meant it mostly about just this one match. This match doesn't get nearly enough credit for being an all-time terrible wrestling match. In that, like, as bad as Rebel and Shelly Martinez was on Impact, God bless those women. They were trying to have a good match. They failed miserably, but I believe in my heart of hearts, they were actually doing their best. This match was a deliberate attempt to have not just the worst match possible, but to make a joke of the entire show, the entire promotion, the entire company. I watched
the entire business.
The entire business. That's what I was looking for. I watched this and thought, why would anyone ever watch pro wrestling again after watching this?
You got
why
me,
do these
dude.
fans even finish the show? Why do they not all go home and get ready for hockey season? This was miserable.
It was miserable, but I got to disagree with one thing. Goldberg was booked to walk off. Nash is just lazy. But fucking Scott Steiner is in there trying to have a good match in the middle of all of this bullshit.
I guess.
He was throwing dudes around.
He was grabbing these 300-pound men and throwing them.
He was trying very hard.
I will revise this, Brian, to -4 3/4.
Okay. That guy was trying.
You are correct.
Yes.
There was something, you found something in this match to hate. But yes, yes, you're right.
Praise.
You have something to praise.
I've had a lot to hate.
One of the very worst matches I've ever seen.
Yes.
And It may not be the worst match I've ever seen, but it may be the most hateable match I've ever seen.
It's way up there. So anyway, I was talking about the buys on Tuesday, and I was exaggerating. The actual number of buys was 70,000,
Okay.
which in this era was fucking atrocious.
Sure.
So, I mean, it was probably a blessing.
The fewer people who saw this, the better. Man.
Yes.
For everyone's sake.